Hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode of our Eye to Eye conversation.
Yeah.
I'm here with D3, aka Lady Danny.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm ready for another episode because today is actually a very interesting one.
Very interesting. We are about to come right back to that. We just want to say thank you for watching the last episode or tuning in for the last episode. Appreciate all the comments. That's helping us get better. Keep them coming, of course. Please keep them coming. And I did want to say one quick recap from last week. We were talking about Haitians who have been in Haiti. And I completely forgot to mention that Naomi Osaka has been to Haiti and she wound up canceling out on the French. I was like,
no, that's not. She said, I don't blame
her.
I applaud her. Like, that's right, baby. That's right.
Not today. So, of course, we have to introduce ourselves, you guys, and then tell you a little quick fun fact about us. So, of course, my name is Sabine. I go by Daz. And the fun fact I want to share for today is I love to travel. I do. I want to visit so many places, and I hope I have time and money to actually make it happen. But it's a lot of fun checking out other people's cultures. I love that aspect of it.
That sounds good.
Fun fact.
No, she just be making me look bad because it's like at this point, like I feel like I've just been in the, the 3 states that only Haitians know.
With New York,
Boston, New York, and New Jersey.
Oh, no, Miami's the main one. They think Miami's the capital.
No, but usually it's like if you're in Jersey, you only know the 3. The is Boston, New York. That's it.
Oh, so there's a regional setup. Okay, I didn't know that one. Okay, but what's your fun fact though?
As y'all know, still Lady Dean. But a fun fact about me is I love to do makeup. Yes, that's my fun fact.
My face beat by the very long. Okay. And I've seen her stuff. Y'all gotta check out her page, man. Give them your Instagram to check out her work.
Or like I travel to people's houses. Some of them.
I'm a traveling makeup artist. Wow.
Yes, ma'am. So if you can't get to me, I'll get to you. Don't worry.
I love it. Listen, if you need, I guess she's gonna do it for any occasion. Whatever you need, that's your homegirl right here. You did last minute, just call her up, hit her up. Yep. What's your IG? Give him the IG.
Glam by Danny.
Oh, Glam by Danny. That's what you need to go follow ASAP.
Come to your girl if you want to enhance your natural beauty, okay?
Girl, say that again. Come to your girl if you want to enhance. She's not taking anything. She's enhancing, okay? That natural beauty. So come to your girl if you want to enhance.
That's right.
That needs to be like quoted somewhere. ASAP. All right, moving on. So today we are going to I'm gonna need tea, ice, all of it for this discussion.
Jesus.
Because
I had a drink.
The month of June, huh?
I had a drink before this conversation.
It's good stuff. We're in the month of June, and it was very interesting that June out here in America is known as mostly Pride Month. You also have Father's Day on that month. You have a couple of other events happening. If you're in high school up north, you love June because it's graduation and you're done with high school.
Amen.
There's also the 100th year of the Tulsa massacre that happened this month too. I also came in America in the month of June. So I think most people, for some reason, tend to come here around June, like the summer-ish time.
Warm. Listen, okay?
Yeah.
We come from a warm
winter.
Yeah. Don't try. I did it in November. Trust me. Like I came here with a little skirt and my lace-up shoes with my shirt. Girl, listen. Okay, I had to be under somebody's blanket the whole
kind of picture. I know they took pictures of that day. But yes, but what we are going to focus on is Pride Month, because we feel that in our community, our Haitian peoples that we love so much, they don't really openly discuss that topic, right? And
Right.
so we figured, hey, we're having conversations here, so we're going to talk about pretty much everything. And I so wish this was like a live where we could like take live questions and be like, hey, what are your thoughts? What do you think? Do you know anybody who's there? Do you have family members? How, with like just basically, how do you flow? Because that's
Right.
not something that's in our radar, to be honest.
Right.
I got all of these ads, pop-ups, everybody's logos tend to be the rainbow this month. And it's like hitting me everywhere, like, oh, okay, I get the memo. It's Pride Month. So it's like, okay, now we got to touch base on that. We got to see what the community thinks and how, they react to it. So what have you seen so far in that regards, Ms. D?
And okay, so first of all, let's talk about what LGBTQ is. So the word stands for lesbians, gay, bisexuals, transgender, and queer.
Didn't they take the queer part out? Now they just went back to regular LGBT?
Well, I'm not sure, but for the most part, still now they still put in the queer.
And if you're Haitian, we just call all of it gay. We don't care which it is.
Yeah.
You're just
it doesn't matter what.
Yeah, transgender, bisexual. Nope. He gay.
It's still
gay.
For Haitian culture. But I think what I see from listen, pretty much in our culture, because since we are, more so talking about Haiti, and then but we're also relating it to the Pride Month, it's pretty much like they try to make it non-existent, even though it's happening. They try to make it non-existent as if it's something that's not even supposed to, be like it, Papa. Basically, Papa lem de bagay gay, paladan, pana bagay, because they have the words. What is it? When it's a gay, they call them masisi, and when it's
Doopsies. Doopsies. I've heard doopsies a lot. Like if you don't know the word out.
Right. So they have a lot of like negative viewpoints when it comes to, anybody being gay. So I just feel like when it comes to Haitians, they're trying to make it very non-existent. But I do see over here that I would say when in the US, they're more receptive.
Yeah, even more accepting. I mean, they're not sticking their nose out like they would in Haiti.
Because I've actually like went into like seeing some. Actually, there's a group called Courage in Haiti, and it's actually a LGBTQ. It's basically an organization for LGBTQ, and literally these people are going to threat like arson, like they are threatening their lives with arson and all that, because it's like that's something is frowned upon. Because if you look at Haitian religion, it's really about half of us are Catholics. And then the other half is like, Protestant, or, what I mean? So it's like whenever 9 times out of 10, if they have a Christian view, it's going to be like, yeah, there's no way for us to accept anything that, has to do with LGBTQ. So that's literally how I've seen it. How I've grew up with the whole, with the idea of LGBTQ. That's how I've seen it around the time where I've been growing up.
I'm actually going to agree with that. First and foremost, let me just apologize to that community because I'm not well versed in it. I don't know too many people who are, and so I don't know. Like I haven't walked in their shoes. Let's put it that way to understand. Whatever issues they may face, any discriminations or anything of that nature. So it's like a big deal for them this month. because now they can openly disclose or openly let it be known. So first of all, let me say yeah, that's exactly what Pride Month is. Pride Month is where all those people in that community, they can come out proudly, visibly, to show that kind of dignity, that kind of, proudness, but as that group, right, as the LGBT social group, to just show themselves out like, hey, we here, we exist. I found out that they celebrating it this month because it turns out back in 1969, there was one transgender person. They still, I guess, nobody can confirm who started it really, but I heard it was like a Black woman, Marsha, by the name of Marsha. I gotta find out her last name, but she's the one who they started this fight, and from then on, it kind of became a social norm for them to be reminded every year around that same time, like how they stood up for themselves, so to speak. So it's like there's another week in November too that I think they call that Transgender Week. I actually did some summer studies in London, and this was where I met transgenders for the first time in my entire life. I thought it was so cool, to be honest. Like, it was a bunch of men wearing wigs. And, it was a while ago. So that was like, oh my gosh, you guys get to do that? I was in awe because I was always in the church. So I never ventured out. Right? So this was my first out of the country experience. Like, you venture out and we're walking the streets of London and everybody's crazy. They could drink. They have no, like, we have more restrictions than them. They could smoke, drink early on, and it's not a big deal.
Festive, out
exactly, it's nothing. Meanwhile, we can't even wear pants. So to go like my church, oh my gosh, like they preached about sexuality, like about gayness, but the church tends to talk in parables, like you never fully understand what they're saying. But I remember hearing always Sodom and Gomorrah. So that was always their way of talking about, like gay people, and forbidding that and saying that it's demonic, you have bad spirit, marriage is between a man and a woman, and things of that nature. So that makes how do you deal when this is how you were raised, this is what you've always known, to jumping to the other side and saying like, well, I meet these people, they kind of nice, so I don't know. Like I mean, if you want like real honesty about how your dress looks, how your makeup looks, if your hair's okay, I'm telling you, they don't lie to you about how you look, okay?
No, and they give you the best compliments. Like, honestly, like sometimes I literally like, I'll get, when it's someone from the LGBTQ community that gives me like a compliment, like I go in for the rest of the day just feeling myself, because it's like, nah, that compliment was legit. It was real.
And then you have that sway and the snapping. I'm like, oh my gosh, this guy does this better than me. Look at him in these heels. You gotta be kidding me. I'm still in training. So from that regards, me, I feel like I feel somewhat torn, because I feel like everything they've said versus what I'm seeing, I mean, I feel like I'm in a position where I'm neither for nor against. I feel like I have enough things to answer to God, so it's not my place to judge anybody. I have my own, judgment. So when it comes to that, I feel like I'm neither for it or against it. The same about marriage. Like if somebody wants to get married or they never want to get married, I don't feel like I'm indifferent, so to speak. Because I feel like at the end of the day, what you do in the bedroom, that's your business. I don't gotta be a witness. I don't gotta see, because there's a lot of I don't even know if I should even mention this, but there's a lot of things people do sexually. I really feel it's none of my business. Some of it is very sick. Don't get me wrong. Some of it is very sickly, like
right.
Like for example, pedophilia. It's but at the end of the day, okay, that one is a different story, because
no, it's
you gotta advocate for the kids now. I'm talking about consenting adults.
it's funny that you mentioned it because it was an article that I was reading for, with that same group, Courage in Haiti, where I don't know if you know, they passed a bill. It was two bills actually. But one of the bills was they associate anybody with the LGBTQ community with pedophiles as well as with what is it? It was another thing, but like basically, anybody that's a sexual offender, anything like that, they associate them in the same category. And they will tell them like, these people don't have, like the certificate to be like of good moral standing, like, they have nothing to offer morally to the country. So they would stop them from getting, like, if you went to school, they would stop. You cannot go to school, like, unless you was on the low, you could not go to school. They would literally, like, it's like, okay, you can't go to school, you can't get certain things, you can't get certain jobs or anything like that just because of it. So I was like, when you mentioned pedophile, I was like, it's weird because they put these people in the state, they put the LGBTQ community as well as with the pedophiles in the same thing. And it's like,
yeah, but I feel like if we bring it back to the Haitian community, I feel like there's a lot of stuff we don't want to talk about. And that's why some of our folks suffer in that department, because I know for a fact, like, Haitians don't talk about sexuality stuff to their kids.
They should not.
They will not. Like, even if they see, like,
they said this
way, like, it's
they're not going to talk about it. And God forbid, grow up in a Christian, well, not God forbid, but if you grow up in a Christian household, forget about it.
But that's what I'm thinking. Like, if they're not having these conversations early on, that could steer you to the right path in a sense. How are you supposed to know your identity crisis that you're fighting with?
Right.
Because you don't know it's bad. You can't tell anybody. So I feel like you must be really going through some things when you have something this heavy and you got no one that you can speak with about it. So you battling yourself like, do I like men? Do I like women? And do I tell my parents to do like this? So then they leave the job now to the friends, because the parents are not having the conversation. Guess who's going to have the conversation for you?
Right.
If you don't have the right kind of friends, trust me, because I've definitely was a youth. I was a youth too, so I know what it's like. Because if they're doing something and you're with them, chances are you're going to do it too. Like, if they're smoking early, if they sleeping around early, if they partying early, if they slacking off school early, you know what I mean? So it's like,
some way, somehow.
Yeah, they will have that influence. So Haitian parents don't want to have that conversation. All they know is go to church, go to youth service.
And they know how, if that happened, they'll tell Marie, Jean-Pierre, Pasteur, they'll tell everybody.
And they all come over to pray for you.
Right. It's like everybody just like gets on you all at one time, and it's like, okay, well, now where do I get a safe space?
Exactly.
Like, who do I go to? And even with the religion part too, some of the LGBTQ in Haiti associate themselves more like with the voodoo culture, because they feel like it's more receptive of them. Yeah, it's more receptive. So
if you're an outsider or an outcast, you're gonna you start feeling like you're a rebel, like you're not wanted by your family. So those other people are going to embrace you. Guess what? You are gonna accept that that's your family now, or that's your, soulmate or ties, or however you want to look at it. You start appreciating those people more than your family, because they are against what you are feeling. Now, in families that have a mother-father structure figure there, how do you explain how one person from that family would be on the other side when they haven't witnessed a two same-sex living in a house? Like, you Haitian, mother, father's in the house. Where did you pick up that from? Because supposedly you're supposed to only follow what you see, right? So you want a home environment where you get your meals, You go to church, you go to school, you know, the Haitians got the 3 L, l'église la caille.
Amen.
But here you are on the other side. It's like, well, how do you explain that phenomenon if you're in a mother-father house? And then
it's what they call that nuclear family.
Uh-huh.
When it's a nuclear family, when it's the mother, the father, and then the kids.
Yeah.
I don't. That's the thing. That's a good question, because seriously, like if you grow, like for example, I grew up with my mom and my dad. I grew up with my brother. And it's like I've never seen that. But like when I came here, like I've actually had that experience. So it's like, then, you know, to be able to speak to your dad about it, it's like,
Yeah.
I think it was like it was like the most uncomfortable conversation. It was the most like one-sided conversation, I would say, because it was like, listen to me, this is what I'm trying to tell you, but this is me trying to express to you like something that's going on with me. But it was like, listen to me, I'm telling you something is wrong, that's it, point blank period.
That's it.
Like, don't talk to me
at home
about it. I don't want to hear about it, and this, that, and the third. And again, Sodom and Gomorrah. That's
it. Or him and Sam, him and Noah, whichever. I forgot how that story goes, but it's basically, yeah, no ifs or buts about it. They'll do exorcism to get it out of your system.
Hello.
Haitian household, you're what? What? Yeah, that's how do that.
Like literally, like na tout bagay pou chwazi pou fè ou c'est ça ou senti pou chwazi pou ça même ça ou pas ka de
on me le passer. So I mean, like I don't know, I don't really have any friends, I should say, who's in that. And I know one time I went to this party, right? Because I like going out. I'm going out all the time. And when you go out, people take pictures, right? Maybe that's why I don't care what people do, because I'm open. Like if you don't travel, you don't see certain things, you may be a little bit more close-minded. So I've been fortunate enough to see different things. Mm-hmm. But I went to this party, or how Haitian call it, bal. You know, they will call me a demon already.
For everything, trust and believe that. Like everything you do is like, okay.
Yeah. So there were a couple of girls in the bathroom taking pictures. So I was taking pictures too, photobombing. I didn't care. It's like, oh, okay, let's take pictures. I'm over here enjoying my pictures. Like, oh, they'd be like, take another pose, and I don't care. But by the time I got outside, they told me, like, you know, they're a group of Madivinas. Saying like they're a group of gay girls. I was like, oh my God, I'm screwed. They're gonna post that picture and people's gonna think I'm one of them. Yo, that bothered me the whole night. I swear to you. And I could not find them to be like, can y'all please don't post, because I don't really even know y'all. And so, but now, years later, it's like, I don't really care what people think. But back then you couldn't tell me that. I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God. So it's like, I'm like, okay, I gotta hurry up and find a boyfriend quick and post them so that, you know, none of that.
Oh my God.
Yes, I was that crazy. But to be honest, like, I feel like the way church was going about it, you wouldn't consider them like human, really. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. To me, that's what's troubling for me, because I prefer to go by what Martin says, Martin Luther King, content of the character. So if your character is not troublesome, it's not, you know, hurting anybody, mm-hmm. or however, then you are allowed to be a human. It's your life. You have your own destiny. So you can choose what path you want to walk in.
I feel like God has a path for everyone. Again, like, what is it? There's a thing that says salvation is personal. And so your salvation, my salvation with God and your salvation with God can be so, like, I could be thinking like I'm doing everything right. I'm a Christian, I'm going to church and everything like that. And then you could be a part of LGBTQ. And then for some odd reason, like God find more favor and you think he does for me. because like there's something in you that he's trying to reach or something like that. So it's like, I just really feel like, again, like it's the part where it's like, okay, I can't really say I'll judge, because even God tells you, like, whoever is without, sin, throw the first rock.
Yeah. It also says judge not, so you be not judged.
So
And religion has done a lot of messing up with how we see a lot of things in life. Like religion now, I feel is a bit washed out, because all these religions that were like super strict, I see a lot of gays in that community now. Like I go to regular church and you see them, and I'm like, this is a Christian church, and I see them, and I know I used to listen to like Focus on the Family. I don't know if you listen to that Christian station, and on their website they have a lot of guides for that stuff. They have a lot of books that they listed. They have a lot of manuals to help people out in that department. So I'm like, oh, Focus on the Family, and that's a big Christian channel. So they're pushing that. And then I forgot what state that was, but there was a news on News 12. I want to say it was Arizona, Phoenix, where they show you that there was a priest who's okaying gay marriages. I'm like, the Catholic Church? So, to me, that's shocking. I'm like, where have I been? I think I have been sleeping. So they're opening that. Actually, Massachusetts was the very first state that legalized marriage for gays in the United States. And I think 12 years later, all the states went onto it.
On board with it, yeah.
Yeah, they're on board with it. There's a lot of changes coming up. And of course, those changes did not come without any fights, because there was a lot of racism towards gays. I know a lot of them that were complaining about getting bullied,
right,
getting mistreated, even getting fired at work for being that, or they had to, try to hide it and never come out the closet. So they were living that double life where they would physically show you that they're married and happy, but then on the side, they gotta go get their little same-sex boo thing. Or
right.
They'll cross-dress or do the whole transgender thing. And I feel like, I guess at the end of the day, it's your body. You could do what you want with it, So, but for them to say that this is what they are and you get beat up for it is really no different from us saying we're Black and getting beat up for it. So from that regard, it's like you can relate. You can understand some of the struggles. There was even that fight with them saying that they had AIDS. They brought AIDS around. As a matter of fact, I saw online somewhere where it says, where is it? I wrote it down. Where they were calling AIDS GRID. So it meant it was gay-related immune deficiencies. Yeah. Oh, that's horrible. Oh, that lady's name was Marsha Johnson. I actually had it.
That's what I was going to tell you. I was going to tell you her name was Marsha Johnson.
Marsha P. Johnson. Looking out, Lady D3. Thank you.
I ended up saying it, but yes, her name was Marsha P. Johnson. But with that, with the AIDS and the gay community, they actually do, because when you look at statistics, they say that about 68%. Okay, let me get it right. Okay, right. It was a census in 2018, and it was gay and bisexual men made up of 69% of the 37,968 HIV diagnosed.
Wow.
So yeah, and they talk about about 492,000 sexually active gay and bisexual men are at risk for HIV.
Oh wow.
So
that's a good number, because I know before, like, they would probably make stuff up to get on people's case too. I want to say, for me, I think the men probably have it worse, because I think a lot of people are used to women being, extra friendly or whatever. But for the men, because I never really hear of a woman getting beat up because she was gay. I mean, I think they get discriminated against too, but the bullying,
but they
get that so much then.
That's another thing. That's a good thing. That's a good point. Because why is it more acceptable when it's women on women versus men on men?
I guess they don't have nothing to lose. I don't know. It's
No, but then like if you look at certain like I've actually asked a couple of people that question, and it's like girl on girl is sexy. It's just
yeah, it sells. That's
right,
the money making.
right. So it's like okay, so now it's like it's not about being in the LGBTQ anymore. It's about okay, it's it's given, it's good for business. It's good for it makes me feel good when I see it. Okay, so then you don't have like you guys don't have the same reaction when it comes to the men.
No, it's like,
So
oh, that's
like
out of my face. What is this?
right, like it's like now like okay, so are we sexist when it comes to the men versus the woman kind of thing?
Right.
So
Right.
I didn't get that part either. So
well,
what?
That, like I said, I've never walked their shoes, so I don't understand a lot of the things that happens or why things happen. But if people are born that way or if they choose to go that path, again, is their prerogative.
I want to ask that question though to the listeners. Honestly, like that's a really good question. Like I've heard the answer from a couple of people, but I just really want to hear it from the rest of everybody. Like why is it that it's more accepted when it's a lesbian couple versus a gay couple? Like seriously, like I just need y'all like response in the comments.
You know what's funny now that you're mentioning that? Like the ladies are so much more accepted, but back in the days, you would have men more so at the forefront. Because I remember being in London, they would talk about Shakespeare, and back in the days, women couldn't act, you couldn't be on anything, so it was always men playing these roles. So yeah. Men was always, like together more, like they go off for the army, you don't see women and they get their urges fulfilled because they go away for ever sometimes, before they could come back home to their wives or whatever. So they've always, I feel like there was really not too much of a way to hide it, but for some reason, maybe because it was always in the closet for so long, nobody wanted to accept it. I heard Socrates was gay. With the Haitian community, I know like we're trying to have a different conversation to try and open up to this and let it be known like, hey, it's still a fact. Even if you don't want to acknowledge it, you don't want to address it, it's a thing. We have gays in our community. Every country has gays in their community. Just like whatever one area has, the other area has the same thing. Class issues, social issues, health issues, the list goes on.
Right.
So because we're not really talking about, I wanted to know how young is too young to have a discussion with a child about gayness. Because if it's more apparent now or more prevalent now, shouldn't we have a conversation even sooner?
But are you talking about in regards to Haitian? Are you talking in regards to just a nation in general? Like, are you just talking about everybody? Because
maybe probably the Black community, because I think other people have that discussion with their kids already, to be honest.
Except for Haitians, they don't have that discussion. They do not have.
Yeah, so like how young is too young? Like I think, because if everything goes back to normal, kids are going to be going to school and they're going to have those parent-teacher meetings, or they're going to have events where they're going to see the same sex showing up for this one kid. Because they're going to be like, how he has two daddies?
They're very curious, so they will ask. And it's like, that's true. Like, then how do you respond to that? Like, what do you say? I don't know. No, but then again, it's like, really, what do you say? Like, what would you say to, like, I really, can we ask the audience that question? Seriously, that's a good question to ask the audience. Like, yes. What would you say? And that, like, how would you go about telling your child that, okay, this young one of your, what they call it, classmates has two dads, has two moms, or do you try to hide it?
Well, I saw an article back in, I don't know how long ago it was, but it was from New York, where they were trying to remove saying mom and dad from the school. Had to say parents or grown up. I think they were probably going towards that direction because they're seeing you're going to have more and more same-sex couples showing up. And these same-sex couples are adopting kids, they're having kids. So you can't tell them they're not parents. And there's no way a kid can go home and call two moms, one mom, one dad. Like, how are you gonna, it's this, I think it's the same way like when gay first started, the community was little or not enough people was coming out, so you thought it was a small community. And then now look.
You realize
world, yeah, it's worldwide. I mean, I see Pride Month in India. Like, India? You know? It's taking over.
What is it? The LGBTQ emerging is like the iceberg that hits Titanic, because all we saw was just the little
exactly
top of the eye, like
exactly
that's the top. But then at the bottom, it was like everybody was just covered underneath. You know, they wasn't saying nothing, they wasn't speaking. So like literally, that's literally how I see it when it comes to the LGBTQ and Q.
I did have this one gay guy who told me he didn't celebrate Pride Month. So I went and asked him, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna ask you a couple of questions because we're doing this podcast about Pride Month and I want to get your thoughts on it. And he was like, I don't do Pride Month. And I immediately thought I offended him. I'm like, is on me? All that time I thought he was gay and maybe he's not. And I just went up to him to ask questions about Pride Month. I thought I offended him and I was like, okay, I'm gonna talk to him after class and apologize. So I went back up to him like, hey, about earlier. And he was like, yeah, no, I don't celebrate Pride Month because they're not using it for what it's supposed to be. All they do is drink and party and look a hot mess. I was like, oh. I apologize. So he is gay. I don't do Pride Month. It was just, you know, him, I'm not gay. Why would you ask me about that? But he was just saying like what Pride Month was for is for them to come and show out like we are a team, we are unity, we are in unity, we are, you know, a community, and we want to stand up for every person before us that fought for us to get here.
Right.
You know, what all they do, I'm over that. They just get drunk all day and do crazy stuff. And I'm like, oh, that's what Pride Month is? Where the next party at?
Oh my God.
Joking.
I hope attention to you. Like, I hope they're not paying attention to you.
I wouldn't be surprised if I walk into right of a gay bar and have no idea I'm in a gay bar. Like, I'll be that oblivious. Like, oh, this is a gay bar? Oh, I thought it was like a cool, fun, lively party. Everybody's so alive. Like,
no, and another thing too, they have the coolest parties. They do. They have like the little parties. I've seen Instagram shows you everything. Like you go literally, and I've actually had. I was in high school where I had a couple of friends that, you know, were a part of the LGBTQ, and they turned up. They up, okay,
and everything. Oh my gosh!
To figure out how they do it when they like put their leg in the front and then the other one goes to the back, but they do it in heels and they drop on the floor. I'm like,
well, I know before in my time, if you liked Madonna, that was a sign that you were gay. And now I'm finding out like if you like Beyonce, that's a sign you're gay. Like, has that changed? Like, is it a new person now? Because
I don't.
Ladies, ladies, that was all of them, right? Before it was Madonna, Vogue, you know, and then I'm like, I bet you they're gonna find a new person to
find somebody else. Like, I feel like everybody just tries. It's just like, you know, with us being here, human, like scientists try to put something to, you know, us being here, you know, they put science behind it. Like everybody try to put something on something they can't understand. So it's like, was gonna have their opinions, and
yeah. What actually, so do you know any Haitians who, like, not seeing, but like, you know, any Haitians who are actually openly gay?
I actually
Otherwise,
not,
this is so funny. Every Asian I've asked this question. I mean, like people you
know.
actually hang out
I,
with. Are cool.
the law, I do not know.
I know, but I do not know.
I know. Like, no, seriously, like, unless they're in the law, I do not know because.
Oh, unless they're in the know. Oh, okay.
Like,
But I know, but I do not know.
I don't.
I know, but I do not know. We'll let time and place reveal all the affirmations and confirmations and everything. But you know what? This subject is actually very broad. There's so much you could discuss about that community alone that the little short time we have, we're not going to be able to cover.
Yeah,
there's issues. Like we didn't even hit hard on the homophobic stage. We didn't even hit hard on the protesting. We didn't hit, like the other type of discriminations that they face, or how did gay come about, or lesbianism. Like there's so many different studies. I mean, like when I was in school, we were not even given the option to write a paper on that stuff. So
right. But it was definitely shed some light and touch some base, because I've been looking at every platform that we have on Instagram, Facebook, and when it comes to pride and like some of the places that we have, like L'Union Suite, I think, some of the Haitian pages that gives you a lot of information on a lot of Haiti things. Like I haven't seen any posts come up about Pride Month or anything like that. I have not.
I thought you went to the school, Instagram school. You ain't seen none of that?
I didn't see it.
Me, as soon as I open my phone, my tablet, whatever it is, boom, boom, boom. Yeah. In my face. Non-stop. Like that's why I was saying, like the banks did their logos change? Oh, hey Google. Okay. So
I'm understanding that, but I'm saying, like, how we have like our Haitian, like it's like our Haitian news pages on IG.
Oh, the Haitian pages.
Yeah, pages. I don't see, like, I've been looking at most of them and I haven't seen anything, based on the topic.
What if we posted? I'm wondering, if we posted, how would people actually react to that? Like we'll post and say, Happy Pride Month to all the Haitians in that domain. But this is why I love it. We're inspired. We are open to doing anything Haitian related. And this is Haitian. And I know we have them. I don't know if they'll ever come out because we are one tough cookie to deal with. Oh my gosh, the punishment, the judgment is worse than the punishment. So it's like,
I know. But I feel like Pride Month is basically a way for them to feel free and to showcase that, like you mentioned earlier, is their way to express their freedom of, their unity of who they are as people. And speaking of free, it's also another thing this month.
The Tulsa Massacre?
We're celebrating Juneteenth.
Juneteenth, yeah! Oh my God!
We are celebrating Juneteenth as well. It is supposed to be the night, which is in a couple of days, actually. In 7 more days, we will be celebrating Juneteenth.
What is it? On the 19th, right?
19th, yes, ma'am. Yeah. On the 19th.
Juneteenth was.
So I wonder, should we keep Juneteenth for then or Juneteenth for today? Maybe we should talk about Juneteenth when Juneteenth get here.
Let's do Juneteenth when Juneteenth get here. Right now it's June. Yes. Oh, I'm so glad you mentioned that. Yes, that is really good because I know there's a lot going on for the month of June and we want to touch base and highlight some stuff. If you have anything too, guys who are listening, that you want us to talk about or touch on, we'll definitely be happy to have a conversation. We just free flow basically and try to relate or bring it back to the Haitian community ground to see how is it happening in our sector of things. But we're still Haitians living in America, so we'll make the comparison between being up here and back home and have a conversation about it.
Number two, sakabado sa.
So basically, in conclusion, I think we have to end because we're running out of time actually. So it was a great conversation as usual, Miss D3.
You know Miss D.
For joining, and everybody who's listening, thank you too. So in conclusion, we just basically want to say that because it's here and it's something that's here to stay, I don't think we have an option to not acknowledge it or even research it and learn more about it. At the end of the day, this is a human race. We are trying to make the best of what we have right now. Your facial expression just killed me. We are trying to make the best of what we have right now with each other. So if you're being with the same-sex person is what makes you happy, who am I to judge? What can I say about that? That's, the choice is for you. If you are a Haitian parent who's over that, against that, what can I say? Who am I to judge? You think it's demonic?
Everyone is entitled to,
Huh?
Everyone is entitled to their opinions.
You are totally entitled. I mean, at the end of the day, we all have mental health issues that we have to deal with. And I know that particular group has been through a lot. Us too, we have been through a lot with, trying to be accepted. It's trying to find that acceptance that's usually an issue. And sometimes not even within a community, it's just in your home. Trying to be accepted by your parents, your peers, so that can have a lot, or it could cause a lot of damage to a person's identity of trying to find themselves. So from that standpoint alone, I feel like I should at least be open to understanding where everybody's coming from, because I'm in it for the human part. I'm in it for the human aspect of things. And at the end of the day, listen, they give me a lot of love. I'll take it. I'll take it. There, as long as everybody's respectful and everybody treats everybody, with integrity. At the end of the day, I still believe that we are all humans. You can't help sexual attraction sometimes, because look, I was about Anderson Cooper. He don't know I exist. But our community, we need to do better, because Haitians, we don't talk about a lot of stuff. We don't talk about abortion. We don't talk about going for counseling. We don't talk about the gay community, which is in your face. I don't know how much of it they're seeing this June, but it's multiplying. We don't talk about prostitution. Those are conversations we want to have. So I hope our Haitian listeners are ready to join us on the next combos like that.
All right, because we're gonna uncover them together. Okay.
Yes. So thank you guys. And
thank you so much
for us.
Listen, I'm so have you guys on the other side. No, I'm speaking to you guys just makes me happy.
Yes, girl. Yes. Until our next conversation.
Absolutely.